Hey everybody, how's it going? Finally got a haircut. Whacked the old beard down because we are a beard growing machine, and I feel good. I look good. I feel good. Today's video, the last part of the bike before we can start assembly. I need to check my piston to valve clearance, and the only way to do that is to put clay or plasticine on top of the pistons, roll the bike over, and check. Well, let's do that today. Let's check our piston to valve clearance and see how close it is. Because basically, friends, I don't want to hit my valves on the tops of the pistons when I fire this thing up. I'll show you guys how to do that in just a second. Okay, we're at the bench. The first thing I want to do is make a solid lifter. These are my old lifters. These had some wear issues. And as far as I know, they've been in this motor for 70,000 kilometers, so I'm going to replace them. And the first thing I need to do here is I need a solid lifter, and the reason for that is these are hydraulic lifters, okay? And if you're checking your valve to piston clearance, these can collapse under the pressure of the springs that are in the heads. So the way to ensure that that doesn't happen, let's see if I can get this apart, is to either use, okay, and these are stuck in here because of the oil. Oh, that's really in there. But the reason you want to do this is you use a set of checkering springs. Now, a good shop that does this all the time would have a set of springs. You put a lightweight set of springs in the heads, and then you can check it with the lifters that are already in the bike. Well, I don't have a set of those springs, so my whole idea is to make my own. There we go. I used a pair of pliers. Again, we're not using these anymore. Okay, so all this is, these pump up under oil pressure, okay, with a spring. Now, two things happen when the bike sits. These bleed down a little bit. And so you want to make sure, basically, I want to make sure that there's no movement to these while I'm checking them. The reason for these is everything stretches when everything heats up. The head, everything gets taller, right? The heads and everything else in the motor. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put this in upside down, and hopefully I can install this clip back in there. I don't know, I haven't done this before, so I don't know if my clearances are right with everything upside down, but the whole idea of this is that this shouldn't move. Now, if I can't get the clip in there, that's fine. Maybe I'll take this shim out. We'll try it like this. Basically, I just want to make sure, that should work, that everything goes together nicely, and I have no lash in my lifters. Okay, so you guys get the idea. Now I have a solid lifter, more or less. And in fact, friends, if I can't do that, I'm just going to put this in there without the clip. But essentially, there's no movement to this now, okay? And I've done that to this one. Same thing. I'm going to... This one, I believe I already put together with no shim in there, but I'll keep these as checkers for later on, okay? And now I can put my push rods in, set them up so that they don't go up and down, but they spin, and then I can check my valve to piston clearance. Let's go to the motor and do that. Okay, we're here at the bike. Take all of our coverings off. First thing I'm going to do is spin this over so that the front piston is at top dead center. Again, these motors, a lot more checking and rechecking. Again, friends, I didn't build this motor originally, so I'm following somebody else's work. So if this thing was stock, it would be easier to say, okay, I have this, I need to check that. But because I changed the pistons in here, I can't assume that my cutout in my piston is the same on the new piston as it is on the old piston. Okay, so just like we did before, I have my hoses on here. Push this in. There we go. Okay, and there she be. Now, what I'll do is I'll turn the motor. I'll take these off. I'll put them on the back ones. I'm so excited, guys. We're almost ready to finish this build. Okay, now I'm going to grab my front cylinder. I've already wiped it out. I'm going to put a little bit of oil in it. And this should be the last time this cylinder goes back on before we assemble the motor. Okay, I'm just going to take off the last hose. I can't remember how I did this last time. Did I put the motor at bottom dead center? I think I may have. Let's spin her around here a little bit. I definitely put her lower the stroke. Okay, now I'll carefully pull this off. Put that on there. Take my cylinder. Again, my cylinder is well oiled. There we go. Cylinder on there. Okay, now that I have my piston in at top dead center, what I'm measuring is not only my side radius, but the depth here. Okay, now these have generous piston reliefs for the valves, but you can't assume that any one thing is fine in a motor. This is blueprinting a motor. You guys know me, I'm pretty thorough with my chainsaw builds. I'm going to be pretty thorough with my bike. So first thing we need to do is put Play-Doh on the top of the piston there. Shout out to my daughter for helping me with this project. I asked her if I could can Daddy borrow some Play-Doh? She's like, yeah. Okay, this is just regular Play-Doh. I probably have too much on here. Okay, I want this to stick to the piston. Now I'm just going to put the motor down. Okay, try and keep the Play-Doh out of the motor. Okay, now I'm going to go grab my head. Okay, and I've put oil on both the valves. Okay, now we're going to take this head. Oh, I almost forgot something, friends. This is my used head gasket, which is already squished down. Okay, and I'm just going to pop this head onto there. Okay, something like that. Okay, now I have my head bolts. I'm just going to plop those down onto there. There's 4 of them. You got to wiggle these around a bit so that they go through the head gasket. Okay, and I'm just going to put these down and I'm going to tighten them just snug. They don't have to be reefed down, but snug enough. Okay, now I'll put the gasket on. I saved this gasket because I knew that I was potentially going to be doing this. Lower rocker box. Rocker arm assemblies. And then I'm going to put the 4 bolts in for the rocker arm assemblies. Okay, those are snug down. So now I have my rocker arm assemblies put together. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to undo my push rods. I'm going to stick my solid lifters in here, put my push rods in. Longest push rod goes to the exhaust valve. And we'll be able to check this. Okay, and here's my new pretend solid lifters. And these go this way. And here's the next one. Notice I don't have the lifter covers on right here. Doing that on purpose. I'll put those on after. Because when I put this motor together, I'll probably just drop the push rods in from the top. The push rods I have in this bike, you can get them in there, but they're very hard to get. Slip them inside here. Okay, now I need to turn my motor over. I'm just going to hold this. Okay, and you notice the lifters are going up and down. We want to get it when they're both down, when they're both on their base circle. Okay, and that should be, okay, and if you keep your fingers on them here, okay, I can feel them where neither of them are going up or down. Okay, notice up. The intake's going up and the exhaust is doing nothing. Okay, you want to catch it in between when they're both on their base circle. Okay, that's simple enough stuff. You don't want to adjust them basically when a cam lobe is pushing one of them up. Now again, these are different legs. Notice one's longer than the other. This is the exhaust. Okay, longer one is the exhaust always. That's a Harley thing. Okay, now all I'm going to do is stick that up in there. And I really collapsed this. I knew as I was doing it that it was probably way too short. I'm trying to do this without assembling too much stuff. Okay, there's a retainer plate pin that goes in there. I almost feel like I should use that because these are starting to spin already. Just give me a second here. Here it is right here. That just goes underneath the cover and keeps these from spinning. Pretty simple stuff here. Okay, and I'm just going to keep on extending this till it sits in that cup. Okay, and I want zero lash up and down, meaning I want to be able to spin them, but no up and down movement. Okay. Okay, and then I'll put the lock nut down. We'll do that for both of them, intake and exhaust. This is awesome, guys. Thanks for joining me on this journey. It's been over 20 years since I've been inside one of these silly motors. I get it, these things aren't for everybody, but I sure like me a Harley-Davidson. I know a lot of guys that like these too. They are a lot of fun, if you keep it fun. Some guys take this Harley thing way too seriously. That's not me. Okay. Now, okay. Basically, no up and down, but you should still be able to spin them, okay? See that? Spin, but no up and down. That is a push rod that is at zero lash. Okay, guys, here they both are. Again, no up and down play, but I can spin them with my hands, okay? Now, all we're going to do is turn the motor over with the rear tire and watch these will go up and down, and we're going to check for... Oh, hold on, friends. Sorry, I left the spark plug in, and this is not the easiest motor to spin over. Okay, let's turn it over a couple times. You can see the spark plug, or the push rods moving up and down. Okay, and I think that should be more than sufficient. Yes, this is flopping around in there. You can use a rubber band. I'm not super worried about it. Okay, now I will take apart all this stuff. All the stuff I just put together, like these. I'll loosen them off, take them apart. Oh, this one seems to have loosened off substantially, which I find kind of weird. So I'm going to check this again, because that means that my test may be a little bit... Again, these are homemade These are homemade solid lifters, so they're not... Okay. Okay, friends, I'm just going to do this test one more time because, well, we're here, right? Okay, again, spin, but no up and down. I'll just snug these down. It's a little bit of a trick to... Okay, there's just a slight up and down there, so I'll go like this. Okay, I'm going to check this one more time. I'll let you guys back up. I'm just going to double and triple check. Well, friends, this actually moved out of the way. It was falling over when I first put the piston atop the center. And this one, I mean, I don't even got to check, friends. It appears that we have tons and tons of clearance. So I think I'm just going to call well enough. These are huge reliefs, and like we probably have 200 thousandths of clearance from what I can see here. So I'm not going to redo this test. Even though this moved, friends, it slid down a little bit. It was kind of sitting here, but it's like I pulled it off and you could see the indent on the back there. And I mean, look at that. There's, you know, the valve hit on the top here. And here's the edge of the cutout. So, and again, this one, same thing. There's the valve pocket, and there's where the valve hit. And I mean, it's... If it was like this, I'd be a little more worried, friends, but I'm not. It barely touched. So I'm going to call that good enough. This tells me that with this setup, I could go to like a 600 and change lift cam, which maybe I should. Maybe next year, friends. But I could put a way bigger cam in this thing and not even worry about it. So... anyhow, friends, and it's not just your overall lift, it's how much lift you have at top dead center. The specs on these are, there's spec sheet in the Piston book, and it kind of tells you what you're looking at. Okay, so the only thing left to do now, friends, is literally put the plate all away, and literally I'm going to spend time off camera. I have to fit my piston rings, 4.5 thou per inch of bore. 4 inches of bore, we'll call it 9 thousandths of for every 2 inches. So 4 inches is about 18 thousandths on the top ring. And the bottom ring needs to be 3 or 4 thousandths bigger. So I'll go like 18, 22 and fit them. I need to hone the rear cylinder. I haven't done that yet. Okay, hole in the rear cylinder. Another good test for these is to do that and see if they get stuck anywhere. These ones are nice and smooth, but I need to hone the rear cylinder. This one is already honed. I'm going to throw both of these in my ultrasonic cleaner, along with the pistons, rings, everything that's going back in this motor is going to get a bath, and then we can do all that, and then I'll just start assembling it. A lot of this little nickel and dime stuff, friends, I'll probably do off camera because, I mean, it's pretty straightforward. Maybe I'll show you filing the rings, but other than that, we'll have to pump up our new lifters. I have 4 brand new fueling lifters to go in here. Those will need to spend, I'll put them in a jar of 2050 overnight and put them in there. Then you set your lash and let them bleed down. because when you originally set your lash, it's a different technique. I've showed that on the channel before, but you basically turn them down until they're touching and then adjust them a certain amount. I think I'll have to go back to that other video. I think these were like 9 flats or something. I can't remember, but which preloads your lifters. And then what I end up doing is you let them sit until they're bled down, okay, until you can turn them. And yeah, friends, other than that, I'm happy. I think this thing should run good. It may need a new flash or some dyno time. It'd actually be cool to run this thing on the dyno on the channel to see how much power we built. I don't dyno chainsaws, but Harleys, oh yeah, I always used to be at the dyno with Harleys and sport bikes. But be cool to see. It'd be nice if this thing could make about 110 and 110, which is about where it was when it started life. So, okay, friends, I'll stop yakking. Thanks for watching. Take her easy. Later.